Okay, it's 10 o'clock. Um, I'm James Warner, Tippecanoe County Assessor's Office. Some of you know me, and I've been managing the Beacon website for quite some time. Since Eric took office, we've kind of added a lot of content to that site, and it's been real useful for us, both for serving the public and also for internal uses. Just so you know, I've had some people concerned that we don't have any intention of getting rid of that system or anything like that. We think it's great. It's sort of a vending machine. But we do have some other GIS tools at our disposal, and we want to be able to share that with the public too. We were never really happy with the property search things that they offered us on Beacon. It just for when it came time for for checking comparables, it was really limited as to what it could do. And so we were looking for other options, and this is something that I built, and it's customizable. So if anybody is using it and you have suggestions or things you'd like to see, I can look at trying to implement those things. Uh, I built this primarily for us in the assessor's office to be able to look at our sales internally and compare them, in a really automatic sort of quick way to where our assessments are at. So we can look real quick at an area and kind of get an idea of what's going on. And then go in and do further inspection of a particular property if we see some kind of strange things. But at any rate, I want to take you through this thing, show you the different tools we've got, maybe be able to field some questions, and get some feedback. The beginning of splash screen, you can make this so that it doesn't come up anymore. We just wanted to give you a little bit idea of what we do. This site will not work on a telephone. It's just too much data. So you really have to be on a computer, really need to have a good internet connection. I did build another version of this for cell phones and other devices for field use. And there's a link to that here. So at this on the splash screen, you can link to this, and we'll probably be adding it to the website too. But I haven't been disabling this, so it comes back up just so if I want to access the one that I made for mobile application, that's just here, and it's got a lot of data too, but it's not feeding so much at the same time, so it's a little bit easier to navigate. Some of you might recognize this site format from the COVID-19 stuff. They use the same, the Johns Hopkins map basically used the same technology. This is an Esri product that they give us to be able to build this stuff. And there's different formats, but I like this one because it was very automated, and also gave has a lot of tools that just come right up. And so some of the things that I want to show you about this is and just make you aware of is where this data is coming from. This is coming from our sales and assessment data. The ratios we see here, it's all these numbers are right now are calculating whatever is on my screen. So you see as I zoom in, these numbers are going to change based on the sales that are present. Starting the site out, I have sales from from about 2017 on to the present, and this bar here, what this does is this is kind of giving us an indication of where our sales are at, if they're in line with the assessments. Like we can see here on this property, we about nailed what the assessment, what the sale price was. Other cases, you can see that the sale price is a little higher. Now this is older. As we move and slide this bar, you can see more of the sales that are on the screen, and I've got it set to where the newer stuff is toward here. So we've got some 2020 sales that are inputted already. We can see where those are headed. So now this ratio here, this 1 to 1.3, it's a little bit opposite of what we use in the assessor's office, but I think it's better for taxpayers to see that what we're saying here is that the sales are about 0.13 higher in this what's on my screen than what we have them assessed at. And you can see that here through these targets, and you can kind of see like as you see one, how they light up on the screen. That's a pretty nice feature. And but this is only taking our 2020 data. So this ratio is coming from 2020 sales only. The price per square foot is a 2-year average, and then this is coming from a 3-year average. The average sale price. Now, what you got to be mindful of looking at average sale price is that it is accounting for everything on my screen. So when we look over here, our property class codes that we've got, you can see some of these 400 class codes. And I know some of you aren't familiar with the property class codes and what they are. So I have a hyperlink here right on this. So if you're curious as to what these are, what these numbers mean, if you just click on this, it will take you to the state website that gives you the list of what these codes are. I thought that would be just a handy way of doing it. You can see that the 100 class is generally farmland. Usually if it's a 00 at the end, it's a vacant land. Same thing when we get into commercial. 400 is going to be a vacant commercial property. You can see the different kinds of commercial property. And then we get into residentials of 500 class, 600 and 800 and utilities and nonprofits and stuff. So just to have that, handy for you to look at. Now we're seeing this average. So that's, accounting for some of these commercial sales in here. So there's a couple things I can do to get that down. So if I go to our filter here, this is just a basic filter that's in, and the filter itself, I've got some different things we can do. We can set the sales in number of months, but let's just focus here for a minute on residential sales. So when I click this button, this turns on the residential filter, and you can see how now over here, these are all 500 class properties that are shown. And we saw that the average sale price in this area dropped significantly, removing those commercial sales. The price per square foot is only a residential price per square foot. So that's just pulling from finished residential area. So that didn't change. And the ratio also didn't change because that's based on the same thing on just the residential sales. So at any rate, we got a few different filters we could use. I've got some living area ones. We got the design grades. We use that in the assessor's office to identify properties that are, higher quality materials. Maybe something different about the design. Sometimes things are gonna have better features. We might see granite countertops or something like that on the inside that we want to try to account for some way. And I've got this set up so you can see different design grades. In this $98,000 range, we probably don't have too many B and A type design grades, probably a lot of C's, but I can turn those on just to see if we do have any B grades, and they'll just show you how it filters it. Okay, so I've got these 4 selected. Go ahead and turn this filter on. It does drop down, so maybe we do have some B grades out there. At any rate, these filters are pretty handy, nice to use. You got the same thing for property classes. You can go in and specify. You can see here we've got 550s or condos, 520s, 530s are all out here in this range. So you can go in and just specify, 510 is your standard residential single family home, and you can specify that and go on. So that's one of the filter tools. Now, one thing I want to make sure you understand is when you close that, these filters remain. So if you don't want the filters to stay, you want to make sure you turn them off. Just closing the window won't accomplish that. Again, we can see these here now. One of the other features we've got is this one here. This tool in the upper left. This is what we call like near me, and this is a great way to find comps. Now I've got this set up to where when you go in, it's set to a 1 mile radius from wherever I drop it. So I can use, I didn't mention earlier the search tools. If I were to take a search tool, this address search is only going to search addresses that are on your screen. So if if you're looking, you might want to zoom out to the whole county, but what that does is it prevents it from suggesting addresses all over the world. So we just kind of filter it just to here. And this also is going to use the USPS address, so you might be able to find things that sometimes searching on addresses on Beacon is a little tough because we only have one address per property. So if you have a duplex and it's two different addresses for one building, you're looking for the wrong one, you might have a hard time finding it. This is pulling from USPS data and other geographic information for addresses, so it's more likely to suggest those. So I'm just going to pull this up, and I'll just find a property here. It'll start to suggest them to us. I'll just take this one on Oregon Street. Takes me right down to it, and again, you can see everything kind of recalculated for this neighborhood. If I wanted to comp out a property on this in this area, what I would do is I could do it different ways. This is a dropper here. You can see the set location. So this is a nice way of doing it. I could just click on that, and then anywhere I put this is going to be where it's at. So if I have my my comp is let's say this property, I drop that there. Now automatically, since I have it set for 1 mile, it's going to zoom out, give me everything within a 1 mile radius. You can see I got quite a few here, over 1,000 entries from 3 years of sales. So the individual properties are here listed, and you can zoom into each one of these. But we also, in this comp tool, I've got some filters built into here too. So what we could do is just by clicking this arrow, this will open up select your filters to apply. This filter off to the right, when this thing is not lit up, it tells us that there's no filters on. Again, these filters will remain. So you want to, if you're going to search for a different property class or whatever, you might want to keep that in mind. That, make sure your filters are on or off however you need them. Another thing that I want to let everybody know about is when you go, if you create an Esri account, some of these tools are, like setting markers and that kind of thing. I'll show you some of that in a little bit. But it will remember you when you log in, and it will, you can customize this to some extent, and I'll get into a little bit more of that. It will save locations for you. You can create your own layers. There's lots of tools that are available for users, and I encourage you to check those out. We'd be glad to help you understand how those work. So anyway, I have 1,000 sales. That's not going to do us any good. There's some things I could do. I can take this lower. I can span this out. Maybe we go to a 1/2 mile, since we know we got a lot of sales. We can do that. So in a 1/2 mile takes me down to just 271. That's probably more than we need. But let's go to this filter. So when I open up the filter, you can see I can search for vacant land, commercial property. This one's set for just straight single family homes. Here's duplexes and 3 units. I can see of those properties, I've got some 520s and 530 classes. Those are my duplexes and 3 units. Why don't I go ahead and turn that one on, and let's just focus on our multifamilies here. It takes a second to chug through that. So that's getting us down to, I don't know why we still got a 510 in there. Might be some indicator that there's another unit or something. But the rest of these you can see are 520s, 530s, which are 3 units, and 599s, which are sort of like other multifamily properties that aren't necessarily 3 units or 2 units. So that's one of the, I've got some other ones here. We can also check the square footages, sale date, again, a specific property class, and we don't like the ones that I've built in. These are, filtering by property class, but I've done the work for you of, knowing what the vacant land classes are, so you can just click on it and go. But at any rate, that narrows things down for our comps. And then when if I hit this arrow, that will close this search bar and bring us back to our list. So in that now, I've still got 47 properties, even with that filter on. There are some nice things here with the property list. So if I click on the number, the 47 here, it will give me the information of the individual properties. The other thing, like I said, we could click on any one of these, and it'll take us down to it. There are, you can see when we get down in here, I've got the building footprints, and these are the square footages of individual buildings. So if you're looking at a price per square foot, you're going to see that you can apply that. You'll quickly reference what that finished living area is. So there's some other information. That's just one of the individual properties that we've got. Go back to the sale list, take a look at what they look like. let's see. Another thing I want to show you while I'm in here is the data view. So some of you like to do your own stuff with data, and you know, you can do that. What we've got is a tab down at the bottom. If you see this little arrow, it looks like a little pull tab there. You can pop that up, and that will give you the data from that's on this map. So and you can filter it from here also. So right now, I guess I selected that one property. That's why it's you know, just down to the one. But it will actually open that up. So I'm gonna turn this filter off here real quick, and you can just see what happens with this data view. See, now I'm back to that 271 parcels. You can, if you like looking at things in spreadsheets, you just pull this guy up, and you can do this. Now, this is what's really nice about this data view, is that we could go in and set some options. So too many fields, you don't know what some of these mean, they're not applicable to you. Just go ahead in and you can go into this and show and hide columns. So if I don't want to see, I don't care about this, I don't care about that, this I don't care about, this is nothing. On down, I do want sale price. I do want to see the acreage. I do maybe want to know the neighborhood code. Personal property doesn't really matter. That's more a commercial. We do want to see the legal description, legal acreage, parcel ID. We've already got it. There's a couple of duplicates in here as far as the data sets go, but I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of some of this stuff that we don't need. Taxing district we'll keep. Property class we'll keep. Commercial building, well, I'll leave that turned on. You can see if it has air conditioning or fireplace, any of that stuff. We break down all of the different you know, space, living areas for the different floors, so you can see if something's a 2-story or 1-story or what it is. But anyway, by doing that, I can customize my view, and so I'm only looking at the data that's meaningful to me. And I could also move these around. So just like you're working in Excel, you can take and drag the stuff over. If I want parcel number and I want to go right to the sale price, and I want to go right to the sale date, and those are the things I care about, I put those right up front. I can filter by those just like you do in Excel, sorting, ascending or descending based on the sale date. The other thing we've got with this is a nice export feature. So you can just export this to a CSV file and have the sale data for that area, filter it on your own or in here. Also, you can apply filters in here, and I'll show you how to do this. So as you're in this data set, you can go ahead and the filters, we add an expression, and so what's going to happen is you'll get what all your fields, and you'll see what they are. So you have some different options. So let's say that I don't know, take something. Maybe I want year built, and I'm only looking at historic homes, and so I want that to be is between let's say 1880 and 1920, and just see from that neighborhood what that looks like. Hit OK. Should start to see the features, you know, drop down based on that. So yeah, so it took us down to 134 records now. And again, we can sort this by sale price. Also, when you're in here, if you want to take a look at a particular property, you can just click on the field on any one of the fields when you're in the row. And if I double click on that, let me pull this down. I'll just show you how it looks on the map. I double click on it, it takes me right to it on the map. The other thing is that we've got, again, I'm down to just the one property now that's selected. Something I want to talk to you about when you're exploring the map and you click on things, they're going to be with Esri, you got to get used to these little arrows. You can see there's one of two. This one takes you to the beacon report screen where we're going to have your sales disclosure, copies, and other information about the property record cards, and all that. And we don't plan to get rid of that anytime soon, so don't worry if that's your go-to. Also links you right to the pictometry imagery, so you can click on either of those and either go to the report screen or the other. But within Esri, you see it's one of two. That means there's another layer of information. So what we're doing right now is we're seeing the link that I've got that just comes off the parcel layer, and then over here we've got the other property information that's just in the pop-up, and And these might develop over time, but it gives you some of the same information that's on the Beacon report screen. I find it a little tough to read in these tiny windows. Whenever you see these 3 dots, that usually means there's some other information involved too. So here's where you can see you can add a marker. If you start doing this kind of stuff, add the marker, then it's going to ask you for a login because it wants to, help you remember that property. And you can set yourself up an account for that. If they're free, it doesn't, not a big deal. So at any rate, that's the data view. That's the near me comp finder tool with the filters and everything. Let's get into some of these other tools that we've got here. Sometimes you don't that general couple mile radius isn't what you're after, and you want sort of a weird shape. So let's take, I don't know, we've got this area here. I'm getting over kind of my neighborhood, and there is this Wallace Triangle, for instance. Okay, so what we could do to select the properties just in the Wallace Triangle, there's another tool. So we covered this filter. I covered the near me. I'm going to jump over to the end here. This is a select tool. You're able to go in and we're going to be able to select from the layer. We can select by any of these things. So we can draw our own polygon, a circle, lasso, a line. If you just wanted to look at commercial properties on one side of a street, you can just draw a line through all those properties and it will just give you the data on those properties. I'm going to use a polygon tool here because I want to try to get this Wallace Triangle. And what you do is you just click right on the map, figure out that space that you want there. Okay. And I could keep going here. We got some stuff up Valley Road too. I'll just go ahead and just take this whole piece here. Maybe a little bit of 9th Street Hill as well. Let's go to here, just this side of 9th Street. So now when I'm done, I want to double click to complete, just like it says. And that's going to give me, it's going to select those properties for us that are in that area and give us some statistics on those. So let's let this thing think a minute. Sometimes it gets a little weird if I forgot to turn. I may have forgot to turn off some of these filters. That might be part of my problem. Let me turn these off. Sometimes you'll get that if you don't have the if you don't have all your filter. Okay, that filter's off. What about these? These are all off. Let me turn this off. Yeah, sometimes selecting stuff when you have a bunch of filters on kind of messes it up. So it's good to just kind of reset things and go from there. Oh, come on. Turn that off and try again. If you get stuck on something like this, I just refresh the map sometimes. So let's get back to that here. Go back and find another property and then, oh, wait a minute, I want to go to South 10th. Oh, that's right. Not zoomed out. Always got to remember that. If you're looking for something, it's not going to find it unless it's on the map itself. So you need to zoom out to where that's at, to where it'll start to suggest those other addresses. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So here am I back in the Wallace Triangle again. Let me try that selection tool again. So there we go. Selection tool. I'm going to go ahead with the polygon. And we'll just draw around the triangle. Whoops. Give me some grief here in it. Let's give me a little bit of grief on this. Get from Zoom, we're running out of time. I just want to get this one tool done. They only give us 45 minutes on this meeting. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to email me. I may set up some more of these and I will put I'll put the video out. These other tools, I'll get those real quick. If you don't like this black map and you want to get a peek at our new 2020 aerials, you can go to the base map gallery and you can select the 2020 image map. And then we got, pretty good view of the 2020 imagery. and or there's some other maps. There's like a colored pencil one. There's a couple different things. This tool is just an automatic summary tool that we've got. Haven't found a whole lot of use for it, but it gives you some kind of biggest square footage ranges and that kind of thing. I'm going to go back. Let me go back to my dark view here, and I want to try the selection tool again. And I'll just take a random area just for time's sake. So polygon tool. Here we go. So we should be able to just draw our polygon over the area that we want to check out, and then you just double click on it. And it's going to give, that came up nice and quick. So that tells the kind of properties that are in there. This gives us the information. Now, if I click on one of these like this, that's going to give me the information. Whenever you see 3 dots, that means there's more information. So here, if I do that, I can go down and I can make it flash so I see where it's at, export the information to a CSV file. The statistics tool is kind of nice. I can go down and select a tool. For instance, just go to sold price and it'll give me the minimum sale price, the maximum, the average, a standard deviation for that. Same thing. And if I go and I click on the properties themselves, I can get that for each individual property as well. Again, here, this shows create a layer. I can create its own layer from this and just save that if I'm a logged in user. I'm doing this from not logged in just so you can see this is just general public access. So that is probably all I got to show you on this. I think I've covered all the basic tools. Hopefully this helps you in what you're doing. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Be glad to try to help you. If you have suggestions, just let me know. I don't see if I've got anybody asking questions here yet, but hopefully we won't run out of time. If anybody does have any, though, I guess let me know. I don't know if you got a hand raise or how it works, but otherwise, that is about all I got for you. And hopefully this will help you in exploring this tool. We're going to have some other things that we're going to roll out that are along this same line. So it's a good idea to get used to this interface. You'll be able to create your own maps in no time, and we'll keep on putting out information. We're working on one right now that's specifically for rental properties. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do with this lost pet layer, all kinds of things. So all that's out there. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me if you have any specific questions. And doesn't look like anybody has their hand raised or needs anything. So I will talk to you all later, I guess. And I've recorded this, so I'll go ahead and send it out to everybody here. And feel free to share that information, and we'll probably try to set up another one of these. Oh, we got a hand raised there. Let's see here. All right, got a couple of them.
Hey, James.
Hi, Katie.
How are you?
Okay.
Good. Hey, I have some personal property questions. So one of the reasons that I wanted to jump on here was I wanted to see what capability this had with regard to personal property.
Okay. We do have a personal property layer that I could show you for people on the call. Katie's the assessor in Hancock County, and he used to work in Tippecanoe County with us. You know what I'll do is I'll set up with you and show you what our personal property map looks like.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
So we've been doing that here. Okay. Let me.
You're not hearing me, James, or can you?
We got another one coming up. Where'd he go? Oh, this thing's weird to work with. Sorry.
No.
Kevin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, you're a little quiet, but what? You had a question?
Okay, yeah. No. When you were searching in the comps, I really like all you've done. By the way, it's fantastic. What I can see. When you were searching by an area or general map, and it automatically brings up the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Didn't notice if you had a way to filter that down farther.
Yeah, there are date filters. I've noticed that they're a little squirrely. Like if you turn the date filter on, it might turn off some of your other filters. But you can use that. There's this tool in the filter box itself where it just shows sale date in the last. So I could just go 6 months.
Okay, good.
And then that's just going to give us, going to turn the tool on. And then that just gives us our 2020. See how it like reduce the number of sales and everything on the screen. So that's now it's just giving me sales that are 2020. So when I click on these, and I look at the individual sale prices. The other thing is for more recent sales, these dots are color coded. So the deeper green that they are, the newer they are. So that's something. But yeah, you can't just turn that on. But like I said, what I found is that when I use this date filter, it will like remove some of the others. Like, so for instance, like if I turn on residential sales, this should go down to just 500 classes, but see how I've got all these 400 classes now. And that's because this thing is on. Well, I'm working on that. Hopefully I'll be able to get it to where you can use the date filter with no problem and the others on top of it. But it has been a little bit squirrely. But if I turn that off, then you see how it just took me down to residential sales only. Or if I go to commercial sales, now it's all commercial class codes. These bars kind of help you understand that your filters are working because it shows you, the property classes and that kind of thing. And then over here with the dates out here, you can minimize it. You can see that the newer dates are this way. But I do have it. I like this a number of months because it's like, that's what appraisers are looking for: 24 months, 36 months, 12 months, whatever. And so that's how that filter piece works.
Okay. Thank you. That's helpful.
Okay. Let me see if I got any more questions. I think no, looks like it's pretty good. But yeah, again, hope this helped. We're trying to use this tool and, in appeal, resolution, and some of our board members are looking at it right now. What the heck is that? Oh, that's your image there. I see. Anyway, so they're using it for that, but we're also looking at ways of using this, to help us set values, because it's basically the process that we use where we do the ratio study and all that's kind of being done for us, right? Automatically through here. So we're just trying to look at ways that we can help this, make our jobs be more accurate. I've been pretty impressed with looking at these. For the most part, we're not too far off. You can see where these sales are pretty close, and sometimes up or down, we're gonna hit or miss some. Another thing I want to mention to people: you might see some real drastic stuff where like something like this, where the sale price was just was way higher than the real value, $1 million or something. What those, you have to look into those, because somebody might have been being taxed as farmland. And maybe it's, maybe it got rezoned to commercial development. We only tax things as they are in use. So you've got developer discounts and all that kind of stuff out there to account for. But for the most part, we feel like we're pretty close, and these ratios aren't really way out of whack in most neighborhoods. Another thing I didn't mention is when you zoom way out, there is like this heat map that shows the sales. It takes a minute to load because it's chugging through a lot of data, but you kind of see, that nice hot spot over there was West Lafayette, and when that heat map turns on, it's just kind of I've used that a little bit, because sometimes when you're down in an area, you'll see a cluster of sales, and it will manifest itself on the map as like a little hot spot. And so, it gets me looking at a certain, one subdivision or another, but sometimes it's a little bit, there it goes. So you kind of see that heat map, what's going on in West Lafayette and in the surrounding areas. So, but at any rate, I'm glad y'all were able to join us. And again, like I said, if you have any other questions, go ahead and let me know. And, we're going to try to keep on developing this. When there are new tools launched, probably having them on the Assessor Facebook page. I don't know if you follow us on there, but we post a lot of the stuff on there when we're doing events. We've got some surveys out right now for people with commercial properties, trying to find out how COVID-19, might have affected their business. So we're trying to, collect some information along those lines. But if you follow our Facebook page, you'll be able to, get more updates on this. I don't want to mail everybody all the time, and apologize for the not blind copying that first email. I thought I did, and I guess I didn't. But I think most people in here are real estate community. They get a million emails anyway. So, but at any rate, if you have any questions, I could talk through anybody, with this one-on-one. or whatever you need. So we'll be continuing to try to tie more data to these maps, and they're just really great tools. If you don't have an Esri account, I'd recommend getting one. They let you make maps even on a free account. And like I said, on something like this, you'd be able to save layers, you'd be able to save specific properties. It'll remember you, and it'll remember all those things. So that is it. Let me see. This thing keeps, I can't tell if people are asking questions. Oh, I do. No, those guys already did it. All right, that's it. So if nobody else has any other questions, I'll just let you all go and have fun with this thing. And you know, we probably won't change the format too radically here, but you know, familiarizing yourself with these tools is a good idea, because a lot of the new map applications that we're going to roll out are going to be in this kind of format. And it's a little more robust than what Beacon offers. We do love Beacon. It's great for, you know, collecting tax bills and for, you know, holding those documents. I look at it kind of like a vending machine, where this is more like a kitchen. So especially for you real estate professionals and people in the assessment community, you know, these are great tools. It gives you access to the data and the raw data even, you know, and you know, so I think it'll probably really help you with your jobs, and save us from doing some data requests. We get people always wanting to, you know, send me all the farmland. Well, you can just go get it yourself right here. So, but anyway, thanks a lot, and let me know. You know, feel free to reach out, email, or call me if anybody has any other individual specific questions. Okay. Take care. Thanks a lot.